You know, the construction industry is this massive, global giant. It employs hundreds of millions of people and, well, it literally builds the world we live in. But here's the thing, it's also been kind of stuck in the past, wrestling with problems that other industries figured out decades ago. So today, we're going to explore the new blueprint that's finally dragging construction, kicking and screaming into the 21st century. Let's dig in. Okay, to really get the scale of the challenge here, let's start with a big number. 439,000. That's how many extra construction workers the US needs this year. Not in total, but additional workers, just to keep up. This isn't just a small gap in skills, it's a full-on crisis that grinds essential projects to a halt and makes everything more expensive for all of us. And for the people actually on the job, well, the human cost of doing things the old way is just unacceptable. 1 out of every 5 workplace deaths in the United States happens on a construction site. It's still one of the most dangerous jobs out there, which is a huge blinking red light that we need safer, smarter ways to build. So we've got a massive labor shortage and a serious safety problem. What's the deal? Well, for decades, construction has been one of the least digitized industries on the entire planet. While other fields like manufacturing were getting these huge boosts in productivity from tech, construction was just lagging way behind. But, and this is the exciting part, that is all starting to change, and it's changing fast. And that brings us to the big question for today. How exactly is technology rebuilding this ancient industry? And we're not talking about just a few new gadgets here and there. No, we're talking about a complete revolution in how we design, plan, and actually create the world around us. So, this revolution, it all starts with the digital foundation. Before a single shovel hits the dirt, the entire modern construction site is being built virtually, piece by piece. This lets teams solve incredibly expensive problems before they ever have a chance to happen in the real world. The absolute cornerstone of this whole thing is something called Building Information Modeling, or BIM. Just think of it as the ultimate 3D blueprint. But it's not just a picture. It's a super rich, data-packed virtual model of the whole project. And the key is that everyone, architects, engineers, builders, can all work together inside this one shared digital space. And you can really see the difference it makes. The old way, with piles of paper blueprints, was famous for mistakes and huge cost overruns. But with BIM, projects are seeing cost reductions of around 15% and getting finished 20% faster. Why? Because you can spot clashes ahead of time, like seeing that a plumbing pipe is about to run right through a steel beam, in the virtual model, not on the job site where it costs a fortune to fix. The bottom line is this: you fix mistakes with a mouse click, not a sledgehammer. And BIM is really just the beginning. This digital toolkit is getting bigger all the time. You've got AI platforms like BuildOts that use cameras to scan the real-world site and compare it to the digital plan, instantly flagging anything that's off. Drones are flying overhead, creating these incredibly accurate maps and spotting safety hazards, which has improved site safety by a reported 55%. And it's all tied together with management software that puts the latest blueprint right in everyone's pocket. It's all about using data to build with insane precision. Okay, so we've seen the digital plan. Now let's look at how actual physical automation is changing the act of building itself. Basically, by moving work from those muddy, unpredictable sites into the clean, controlled environment of a factory.
And that's the whole idea behind modular construction. Instead of building every little thing on site, you build entire sections, like whole rooms, apartments, even hotel floors in a factory. We're talking up to 90% of the building can be finished before it's even shipped to the site. Then you just assemble it, almost like they're life-sized Lego blocks.
And this is not some small, niche idea. It's a market that is absolutely booming. I mean, just look at the projected growth here. Multifamily housing is set to grow by billions, sure, but look at lodging. It's expected to nearly double by 2029. That tells you the industry has massive confidence that building in a factory is not only faster and cheaper, but the final product is actually higher quality. So if modular construction brings the work to the factory, another incredible technology brings the factory right to the work. Yep, I'm talking about 3D printing. A tech company called Icon wanted to see just how far they could push this idea, so they set out to print an entire home. And they did it in just 24 hours, a single day. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is real, it's happening. That kind of speed is an absolute game changer with the potential to tackle housing shortages in record time. And get this, they did it for only $10,000. That combination of lightning speed and radically lower costs could completely upend the economics of housing and maybe make home ownership a reality for people in a way we've never seen before.
And beyond just printers, there is a whole army of specialized robots showing up to do the toughest, most dangerous, and most repetitive jobs. You have bricklaying robots like Hadrian X that can work 24/7, autonomous layout printers from Dusty Robotics that are 10 times faster than a human crew, and bots that do the back-breaking work of tying rebar. These aren't just cool gadgets, they are the direct solution to the labor shortage and the safety crisis we talked about. So we're building faster, safer, and a whole lot smarter. But the big question is, are we building better for the planet? That brings us to our third section, which is all about tackling the huge environmental footprint of construction and the innovations trying to shrink it.
Wow, this quote really just stops you in your tracks, doesn't it? The process of making cement, just that one key ingredient in concrete, emits more CO2 than any country on Earth except for China and the US. It's a massive climate problem that's hidden in plain sight right inside our buildings and our roads. And this chart breaks down where all those emissions are coming from. About 30% is what's called embodied carbon. That's all the CO2 released just to make the materials and build the building in the first place. The other 70%, the huge chunk, comes from actually operating the building over its life. Heating, cooling, electricity. So if we want to build sustainably, we've got to solve for both parts of that circle. So what's the answer to dirty cement? Well, how about cement that's literally grown? It sounds wild, but companies like Biomason are using biological processes, kind of inspired by how coral reefs are formed, to create something called biocement. So instead of baking limestone and pumping out tons of carbon, their process actually absorbs CO2 from the air. It completely flips the entire equation on its head. And all of these new materials and technologies are starting to come together in this bigger concept of smart cities. You have projects like Toyota's Woven City, which are basically living laboratories. They're designed from scratch to weave together sustainable building, self-driving cars, and smart infrastructure to create a much more efficient and greener way to live. So, after all that, where does this leave us? Let's bring everything together and take a look at the new blueprint that's emerging for the future of building. The change is, well, it's profound. It's touching every single part of this industry. And this right here is really the final takeaway. We are watching a fundamental shift from an industry that was slow, dangerous, and wasteful to one that is fast, safe, and sustainable. We're going from unpredictable schedules to data-driven certainty, from carbon-heavy methods to efficient and green building. And this isn't some far-off future, this is the new reality that's taking shape right now. Which really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. As automation and AI continue to advance at this incredible pace, you have to ask yourself, will the iconic hard hat, the symbol of the construction worker for more than a century, will it one day belong to a robot? And what will that really mean for the future of how we build our world?